Good day, Ozark Electric. Listen, we're shooting this the last week of January, so I don't know what Punxsutawney Phil is going to see or do on February 2nd. The sun is shining today, but I don't know by the time we get this out. He'll have decided what's going to happen, and how much stock you put in that, I don't know. So we got that going on. Congratulations to all Kansas City Chiefs fans and nation. Headed to the Super Bowl, looking for a third consecutive win, historic opportunity in front of them. So everybody enjoy, get together with your family and friends, do your tailgating, support them, wear your red everywhere you go. So go Chiefs. The other thing, let's see, we've got, we've just inaugurated a new president. So President Trump has been busy. We'll talk about him a little bit more later in my report here. Also, we'll be going the first week of February, as we always do. Myself, John Davison, Member Services, and several of our directors, we will go up to our state capitol because the legislative session has started. We go up there and talk about issues, policies. Pre-filings have already started, so there's well over 1,000 bills that have been filed, so they're going to be looked at. They're going to go into committee, out of committee. Will they go for a vote? Will they get to the new governor's desk to be signed? So we go up and we represent the co-op in rural Missouri concerning those things. Let our legislators know, hey, that's a good thing to support. We'd like for you to support it because it helps rural Missourians. Or we tell them, hey, that would be detrimental or a challenge to your rural constituents, and so we would rather you not support that bill or that movement or co-sponsor or sponsor a bill in that effect. So we'll be doing that. We'll go up and represent our system and our members up there and do that. We also have, on the tail end of that, we have our next Co-op 101 scheduled for Monday, February 10th. At 6 p.m. here at Mount Vernon. We're going to be talking about ground source heat pumps, our rebate programs, how those things work. So we'll be doing that. We'll have a renowned and respected installer that's been doing it for years and years and years come and help walk through that, answer any questions you might have, talk about the benefits of that technology and energy savings. And so that's coming up. We've been trying over the last I don't know how many months. I've tried to talk to you about widening our gaze and focus on the nation's grid and how what happens on the nation's grid affects us here in Southwest Missouri concerning availability of power, reliability of power, cost to generate that power and get it to your homes. And so that is still part of what's going on. One of the biggest trends that is challenging the nation's grid. And if we back up for a second, a nation that's having rolling blackouts and brownouts, in my estimation, doesn't mean we're at the most stable situation for energy for our citizens in the United States as we could be. To me, that says we need more generation. We need more facilities to take care of getting enough energy to the citizens of the United States. One of the things that's really pressing that is the move and the surge for the AI data centers. And I know if you haven't done any research on them or if you're not familiar with them, they can be in scale from a few megawatts to hundreds of megawatts. And to put that into perspective, some of these larger ones, they use the amount of energy that a good U.S. city would use. There's one in Nebraska, and it uses the same or equal to the amount of energy that the city of Omaha, Nebraska uses. And so these things are showing up on the scene and taxing what we've got available already. And so we've got to build more and more facilities in generation to make sure that we can feed that appetite. One of the other things that's a pressure that's across the entire thing, we had toward the end of the year here in the last few months, you'll remember that the EPA ruled on greenhouse gases, carbon, and wanting sequestration and some of those things done. Several of the G&Ts and states throughout the country filed a lawsuit to challenge that. We're really hoping that and this new administration can help weigh in on that, because there's a different approach to energy with President Trump than we had before. And so we're excited about that. It doesn't mean that automatically energy savings is going to happen. It takes time to implement and deploy all that stuff. So that's going on. And then another thing that happens nationally that may be on a coast or another state is, the North Carolina event and natural disaster, and now California being on fire. How does that affect Missouri? How does that affect Ozark Electric? In a couple of ways. First, workforce availability. If you'll remember back to 2020 and 21, when California had another huge fire out there, when the smoke cleared and they started to put things back together, there was a push and a cry from California into the rest of the country, kind of waving a flag saying, listen, we need linemen and we need contractors and we need people to come and put our system and our state back together. And so what was happening during that time is that there was these really lucrative contracts that were being offered to linemen throughout the country, and it hit Missouri as well, enticing them to go for a 3-year commitment to go make set amount of money, restoring and putting back California together, and then be done and come back home. We were fortunate that during that time we didn't lose any of our linemen. I think one of the reasons why is that they saw that, okay, if I go, I'm not necessarily going to be promised to have a job when I come back home, and I'm not going to do that. The other thing is, I think in this region, we do well, the cooperatives, the municipals, the investor-owns in this region, of compensating and taking care of keeping those people here so that they don't go. Well, there's another wave of that's going to happen, I predict, with what's happening in California, with what's happened in North Carolina, is that they need that. That also puts pressure on the contractors in the region, on what they do with their resources and facilities. Now, we have contractual obligations with our contractors to help us on our system, take care of what we need to do. But as the smoke clears, and it's going to be in the next year and probably into 26, as that cry for more and more help is going to become more of a pressure. And so we've got to take a look at that on what we need to do to be competitive, to retain our guys and keep them here working for you, and to keep our contractors here. And so that could mean costs to help do that and make sure that we keep them here. The other real challenging thing is that we were just coming out of the pandemic and all the supply line shortages, all the trouble to keep things caught up, and the lead times getting way out there. Now we have that possibility again, because North Carolina is going to need resources. California is going to need resources. They're going to need poles. They're going to need wire. They're going to need substation steel, transformers. Everything that we need to take care of our system now is going to have extreme pressure put on it to purchase it if it's available and get it going to the coasts or to North Carolina to help stand them up. So we're going to see, I would predict, pricing pressures on that stuff because all of those facilities aren't fully back to 100% recouped from prior to the pandemic and the supply line shortages. So that's something we got to keep an eye on, okay? One of the other things, like I said, we just brought in President Trump. One of the other things that across the country has a pressure and impact on Missouri is the national position on power and its utilization and what resources get prioritized or what gets to be on the table to produce energy for the United States. Now, there's a few things that we've heard that kind of have us excited in the energy sector, and that's drill, baby, drill, and then energy emergency that President Trump has declared. Now, we're still trying to wrestle with and get the details of what does that statement, energy emergency, mean? What does that do to unleash American independence and energy, which we're all for? What does it look like? So I'm going to be trying to keep up with that and then share with you what that means as far as it pertains to the generation of electricity, the transmission of electricity, and the distribution from the substations to your homes, which we focus on. That's going to be interesting to see. It's exciting. I would kind of tell us not to get overly excited and think that 30 days in, it's all going to switch and change. I think that drill baby drill means we can refine and get fuels and those kinds of things back to a level where we see an impact at the gas station. Then those products that we pay for that are being shipped across the interstate to get to the stores is going to come down. It's going to take some of that pressure off of our home budgets concerning that. And if you can lower what you can do, and if you can actually build more resources across the country to generate power to keep up with the demand of the data centers that are coming on, and then also the growth that we have just within the country ourselves, all those things are going to come to not a completion, but we'll have greater explanation here going through 2025, and we'll be tracking it and try to convey that to you to let you know how that's impacting us, what that means. Because if you say there's an energy emergency, are you going to allow for generation plants to be built much quicker? If it's nuclear as part of the solution now, can you streamline that process and bring it, less than 6 years, bring it into a 2-year completion? The thing that we keep an eye on is that those facilities are still going to cost money. And that's where we're concerned, because everything that happens with that within the grid that we're connected to, we know here at Ozark Electric, and our directors and our board know, we fund through our payments, because I'm a member too, we fund what that technology and what that expansion and what the implementation and deployment of new facilities, it has to be paid for. And so making sure that we have during this time, and hopefully in the 4-year term that President Trump has, we can see substantial movement in unleashing that and making more generation facilities throughout our footprint of the United States to make sure that there's an abundance of electricity and energy around. How it gets paid for, I hope that there's help, like wind and like solar have received. I hope that nuclear is going to receive some of that, because you can build, maybe 2, possibly, depending on the size of them, gas generation plants for the price of what it takes to just do 1 nuclear plant. And so there is a cost disparity on that technology. And so we're going to be watching to see how that plays itself out and how it ends up affecting us here at Ozark Electric. I think that I've covered everything for February. It's busy. We're off to a quick start here with the new year. And so I hope it is going great for you guys at home as well. And I'll see you in March. Thank you.